on us. Don't be shy. You guys oh, yeah. Like you're at the lead.
Well, anyway.
My brother has
all right. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this executive meeting on April 27, 2023. Party.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. Before we start with the approval of agenda, I want to say a big congratulations to our executive director. She's graduating tomorrow, y'all. Did your MBA?
MBA, yes. I am a business survivor.
So I'm very proud of her. Thank you. She did an amazing job organizing the Frolic this year. Did we not have a great Frolic? Diane was a great help. Bev was a great help. Katie was a great help. Everybody that helped us. IBW, Local 82 was a great help. So thank you all. May I have a motion to approve our agenda as presented? So moved. Is there a second? Second. All right, you see was moved by Diane. Second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? All right. Minutes were for the last meeting were emailed prior to today. Hopefully everybody's reviewed them. I have a motion to approve the minutes. It is moved. Who said so? I thought it was Marty Garrett. You look pretty tired today. I know. Having a baby. It's work. All right. And Debbie seconded that. All right. All in favor? Aye. Any against? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, so I'm at my treasurer's report. Our treasurer is under the weather today, so I'm going to present you guys the numbers, okay? So we wish her best of luck. Hopefully she gets healthy soon. Now, since our last report, we raised $86,000. Actually, we probably raised about $89,000. I still have about $6,000 to chase, which reminds me I have a check for $750 here for you, man. So I call people and I chased it. So we did pretty well at the Frolic. We did, since our filing report, obviously we spent money. We paid our staff, paid a lot of our bills. Food, as great as it was really expensive. Food cost has gone up, so we have actually spent $56,000 since our last reporting. Most of that was, I think, just our food bill, just FYI, was close to $36,000. Just so you guys know, food is expensive right now. But we went with the minority caterer. We wanted to, stay local, and so that cost us a little bit. Of course, we had an open bar, and some of you guys like to drink, so it cost us more money. But we are going to currently have over $26,000 in our bank. Like I said, there's probably $6,000 or $7,000 I'm still chasing. We'll continue to fundraise. We have over $3,000 in our judicial. We have $124 in our state candidates. Our restricted, which we never use, is $194. Our building fund still has $137,000, $486. Okay. Any questions on that report? I'll entertain a motion to accept the report as presented by the chair today. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none. We go to chair's announcements. I'm going to start actually with our great team who's doing great work with collecting signatures with the right to do abortion potentially on the ballot. So I'm going to have them come on up. I want to give you guys a heads up. I think we're number 2 in the state right now. Three. We went down to 3 collecting signatures. They're doing a great job. I want to be number 2 or number 1. So, great job. They're going to move you guys. You guys can see you on Zoom. So please present to us what's going on.
Thank you. 3 is nothing to sneeze at. There are 67 counties out of the 88 that are participating in this program through the ODP. I'm sure you all heard at Frolic that out of the enormous amount of work that needs to go into getting 460,000 signatures to get this issue on the ballot in November, the Ohio Democratic Party has pledged to collect 100,000 of those signatures, and 67 counties are working under the ODP, and we have promised to collect 4,000. That number does not sound that big, but let me promise you, that number is very, very
It's a
big.
big number.
Yep. So I'm so proud to be number 3 in the state of Ohio. So if you've talked to me or Mel recently, we've talked to you about what we're working on right now, and that's collecting signatures to get the right to abortion, access to abortion on the ballot in November. We are passing out petitions. We are giving people training. We are going to stay afterwards today to give you training and pass out a petition. I want to just say, when I called Chair Al-Hamdani and said that I wanted to do this, it's because I knew that this is the most important work that we will be doing this year. Every single person in this room, the most important work. I'm so grateful for all the people who have stepped up and volunteered already. We've been doing this for a month. How long have we been doing it? I think a month. Somebody's calling me. That's what. This is what we've been doing for the last month. If you have gotten a petition and gathered signatures and canvassed, just stand up. I want to acknowledge all the work here that I know people have been doing. Head down to all those people. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing all the time. If we break this down, we can make it really easy. If every single person who is a precinct captain in this party collects 1 packet of signatures, that's 35 signatures, our work will be done. People have already collected multiple. I know people who are already on their 3rd or 4th petition, but we would love to see every single precinct captain get a petition, go out to your friends, your family, your community, your network, and canvass your neighborhood, talk to your neighbors, get signatures. It's not that hard. Many hands make light work. Mel is going to give us a quick update on where we are with our numbers.
So right now, like I said, we're in 3rd place. We are not much behind 2nd place, so we're keeping in there. Those of you who have the petitions, you'll see me texting you and asking you, hey, can you give me those numbers? It's for that soft report. So we're starting to get real competitive amongst our county leads. So we get on there, it's live, it's a live tracker. And so we can update it any time, and Stuart Brown's really keeping an eye on it as well. So thank you for all those who respond back to me or are patient with me when I'm texting you and you're somewhere else and you're like, I'll get you the numbers when we get home. So I appreciate that. We'll continue to do that. And we've already delivered, I think, 19 petitions to ODP, but we have a lot more petitions out. Thank you for all those who've taken them. One thing too, if you want to, we can provide you ODP targets for your precinct. Some of you have them already, and they're targets that are given to us. I don't know all the math and the formula behind it. It's a little wonky, but they give you basically the people that are likely to sign the petition. So you'll see some Democrats, some not Democrats, some UNCs on there. But going to their door, some people, I know Barb's having a great time. Barb told me she's having a great time doing her list. So please come to us, because this data will actually help for this year and for next year. Because it's the minivan data, the vote builder data, so it's really going to help us out as well. So if you don't have a list already, please get with us. Like she said, get with us later for training and afterwards, and we can get you a petition. We're very flexible. There's an online training. We do one-on-one training, so I really want to get you guys energized to do those walk lists in your precincts. But that's pretty much it. So let's keep up there. Like I said, I think it's going to get more and more competitive with us county leads as we start getting closer.
A couple questions. So, are there events you're going to be at that you need volunteers for?
Yes. So we got some events coming up. I'll let you rattle off some events. One thing I want to plug is the House Caucus is getting involved. So Rick Blackshear and I have talked. And he's going to be doing a drive-through event somewhere in his district, and then he's also going to be canvassing with his precinct captain. So if you're in Rick Blackshear's district, be on the lookout. He's going to be contacting you for probably both of those things. Right now we have a tentative date, I think, of 20 May for the drive-through event, and then probably the weekend after Memorial, potentially, because he just shifted these dates for his canvassing type of thing. So just keep on the lookout for that. He's going to be reaching out to you guys. So that's one of the big things.
Yep. I'm going to send a list to the communications committee to email out the dates, so I don't give you guys any of the wrong dates right now. But I will tell you, put on your mental calendars, we're going to be at the Levitt Pavilion as much as possible. I've already talked to Lisa Wagner, who works there. We cannot be on the premises themselves while collecting signatures, but we can be on the periphery. No problem doing that. There's a Pride Rocks event at Levitt, and then the kickoff, and all the things, all the events during June that we can be there as possible. We're going to be in Pride Parade. There are drive-through events. We actually have signs. The Montgomery County Democratic Party has paid for signs where if you're not able to walk around and knock on doors, you can have your own drive-through on a weekend at your own house and you can email and text your friends and they can come by and you can stick a yard sign in the front of your yard so people know which house to go to. But I will send an email out with the list of dates.
Sure.
And so check your inbox for that, or call us or text us. We're happy to do that one-on-one. Yes.
Are you using VAN to record who signed and not signed?
Yep.
Yes.
So you just sign into,
Yep.
Yeah, there's an activist code there. There's a survey question of like strongly support to not, and then there's an activist code that we click that says they signed that petition. Oh, that's it, I think.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Are you signing the petitions out? Like, do you need to know who has petitions?
Yep. Each
So-
petition is a legal document from the Ohio Democratic Party, and each one has a number on it, and we are keeping track on who has which number petition.
We're required to do that.
Yep.
Yep.
Any other questions? Well, big hands.
Great.
Good job, guys. Thank you so
Thanks,
much. I got a couple announcements. One, I want to send our condolences to the Krumholz family. Judge Krumholz passed away earlier this week. Sadly, he had a heart attack. I don't know if you guys heard or not. I know it's news to some of us. Service is this Saturday, Mark? Do we know where? Holy Angels. So Judge Krumholz passed away this week. Service is this Saturday. We'll send our regards and we'll probably send something to the family. I know his family has moved out of town, but I think service is going to happen here. He's a longtime Democrat, served this party for a long time. It's a good job. So condolences to them. I think you guys heard that we're in a fight for our life for this petition. So I have to tell you, no surprise, I think we're going to have, and Russ, I'm looking at you, most likely going to have an August special election.
didn't the Republican Party say last year that was not going to happen again? Wasn't that illegal and a colossal waste of
I'm telling
money?
you, that's what they're going to do, so we need to get ready for it. Yes. That's going to be the fight before the fight, for our life, right? Because what they're planning to do, because they know this is happening, right? They're planning to change the rules. Their plan is to put a special election so they can change the rules, so we'll need a 60% supermajority to change the Constitution. That will, as I think Russ and I talked about this today, kill democracy in the state of Ohio. They already have a supermajority, and they have a governor, and if they change the way we amend the Constitution, that's the last thing we got. That's really it. That's all we have left.
But they've got the Supreme Court too.
And they have the Supreme Court too now. So they have it all. This is it for us. So August special election will be the first fight for our lives before the second fight for our lives. Because unless we win that election, I don't see any issue getting 60% in the state of Ohio. Not right now. Not the way the population is set up. So that is for sure coming. As a party, we will be assisting with those efforts. But, because it's not part of our mission, right? We can't legally be the head of that. There's going to be other organizations that will head that fight. But we will be sort of like in this fight, we will be assisting, right? We'll find the legal ways to assist with making sure. But as you guys probably already know, voter turnout is already low. Having another confusing special election is going to confuse our voters, especially after Republicans spent the last, I don't know how long, saying we're not going to have one. So nobody's going to be expecting it. Nobody's expecting it at all. So that's I wanted you guys to be aware. That's what's coming. I think that's the fight that we're going to have to kind of focus on this summer and get organized around and figure out how do we make sure we get our voters out and turn them out for a special election. If we don't, then really it's all for naught.
Mohamed.
Exactly what's on the ballot on August, and
Well, we don't know yet. Yeah, I think they're gonna try to, put a ballot initiative that will require that 60% vote for any constitutional changes going forward.
So it's a change in the Constitution?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's specifically aimed at stopping this.
It's stopping this and any other efforts Democrats may have. Whether, yes.
And Mel's had her hand up for.
Mel?
Oh, sorry, real quick. So I just want to piggyback on what the chair said. That's why I feel real strongly about this canvassing.
Yeah.
And also when you're talking to people, like people ask about this when they're about the petition because a lot of people are confused about it. So I think telling them, hey, if this special election happens and you care about democracy, about this, as you're getting signatures and this comes up, if you have time to talk to people, tell them, hey, you need to tell your friends, people need to vote in August. They need to go out and vote in August. So that's just something I want to plug for people to mention when they're out and about doing this.
That's good.
To make it even sillier, worse, any constitutional amendment that originates from the legislature will only need
50%.
So,
Yeah. So if they want to change the Constitution, the legislature, they could do with 50%. But if we, the people, want to change it, we need 60%. Go figure. Yeah.
I've gotten emails from We Are Ohio and the Ohio Education Association that May 3rd at 12:30, there's a rally at the State House. And I plan to be there. I don't know if anybody else will go, but I think it's part of the,
Information out.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, because the party has to look like we're doing our work legally, we have to figure out ways to kind of pass on that message. So thank you for telling everybody. Okay, so obviously there's efforts happening at the State House. There's a lot of going back and forth, but you guys know right now, I mean, they have a super majority in the House and the Senate. They have the governor, so I think all signs are pointing to a special election in August. Yep, same one they said they will not have. All right, the other announcement I have, which I think I've got some questions about, is about the vacancy for the Brandon McLean seat, the recorder's office. I think we emailed everybody what the process is, so I'm going to go over it just to make sure people understand. Obviously, his last day will be the end of this month. The county commission has their own process for appointing someone temporarily. They have, within 10 days, they have to do it. We, as a party, after 10 days and before 45 days after the vacancy, have to appoint someone. That appointment is only for the vacancy. Just remember that, because it's, he's vacating midterm essentially. We're only appointing someone to the vacancy. That person will have to run again, or somebody else run again in the future if they decide not to run. Okay, so when we appoint someone, we're only appointing for the vacancy. They still have to have this election when it's originally scheduled. His election is coming up in 2024. So that I think is a weird question for people to ask me. Like, oh, well, do they have to run again? Yes, they do. They have to run again in 2024. Okay. The process is, obviously you're supposed to send a resume, fill out our screening committee. Screening committee will review. Obviously, screening committee makes a recommendation. We don't appoint anybody, just to make that clear. Everybody that would apply will still have a chance to come speak to this committee. So far, as of today, I've gotten 0 applications. Okay, I know there are interested people. I've heard from at least 4 or 5 of them, but none of them have submitted an application. So, I haven't scheduled anything for screening because I don't know who's applying and who hasn't. I've only heard from, like I said, I've heard from 4 or 5 of you. Some are in this room and some are not, who are interested in. So if you are, please send in your resume and your application for April 30th. Go through screening like we normally do, and then I will write a report just like I did last time, send it to everybody, and here's our recommendation, and then the body will vote on that, okay? Just remember, you're voting on to replace someone to fill a vacancy. That's our job. That's all we can do. We don't appoint someone to the future. So I got weird questions about that for some reason. So hopefully that's clear enough for everybody. If you have more questions or interest, make sure you reach out to me, let me know. The email is in the email that was sent out is my email with the party, so the resumes come straight to me and the applications come straight to me. Yeah, if you're interested, please apply. Okay? Any questions on that?
Do you have an updated list of the Central Committee as well as an updated list of the Screening Committee?
Central Committee, yes. Screening Committee, I can send.
Thank you.
Anything else? Central is, I think, on our website.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's updated on there.
Yes.
Is it possible to put all the different subcommittees, memberships that we have standing on
Yes.
the website or somewhere accessible?
Yes, we will do that.
Thank you.
So part of what I'm working on, that's my last announcement, is we're gearing up to, now that we fundraised and I feel healthier, right? And now we're sweating bullets about money, I'm gonna re-stand up a lot of our committees. It's like building an airplane as you fly it. We were in the hole for a while, so we're re-standing up, and I think it leads me to my next. So our first committee we're standing up is membership. I wanted to start membership with listening sessions. So we wanted to hear a lot of our voters obviously say we don't listen to them, so we're gonna start by doing that. I wanna go out to the voters and listen to them, and Reverend Harris, do you wanna tell us anything about that?
Thank you, Chairperson. Want to let everyone know that we are going to have a listening session in June, and we will give you the date and time so that we can just bring in this membership and build it up. We want to hear from our community. We want to hear what they have to say, what they're thinking, and we want to be available. So the first meeting will be in June. You'll hear very soon as we nail it down.
And the first session will be in West Dayton. Obviously, that's still one of our biggest locations for voters. It's where we had our biggest drop-off in voter turnout in the last 2 cycles. So we want to kind of find out what's going on. We will also do one south of town. We'll also, yeah, you were like, I can tell you. But, it's good. We need to listen to our voters, right? We need to figure out, hey, we'll have, most likely be at the library in West Dayton, but we'll start trying to find if we can do it there. So that's our first location. We'll do one south of town. We'll do one at Northwest as well. We'll probably go to Huber, Riverside after that. So, because those are areas, those are kind of where we want to be. But West Dayton will be our first location. And we'll do that for the remainder of the year. We'll have 4 listening sessions.
So what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, a couple of things. So this model came from Georgia, right? This is sort of like what they did in Georgia to kind of reestablish the party, right? They did a lot of listening sessions to kind of, figure out where are we, we're great as Democrats telling people what they should be doing. That's the #1 complaint I get from my voters. You guys always tell me when to vote, who to vote for, and what to do, but you never listen to me about the issues we care about. So that's really what I'm hoping to accomplish, is figuring out what are the issues we really need to be paying attention to as a party. And because our goal by the end of the year is to have a sort of strategic plan on how to turn out West Dayton and some of the areas that we really lacked on.
But I mean, you already know the issues, don't you?
Well, I don't want to presume. I don't want to presume anything.
No, but I'm just asking what you're trying to accomplish.
What we're trying to accomplish is a reestablishment of trust. There's a lack of trust in us as a party, and I mean, people are not turning out for us like they used to.
I know.
And so that's.
So I mean, you already know the issues, so what, I mean, I'm just trying to help you think this through. How are you going to establish more trust?
Well, I think being there is a big part of it, man. I mean, really, just being there and listening to people is a big part of it.
The courtesy of asking
Yeah,
something.
yeah, for sure. Look, this is not a new model. This is not something that we haven't tried before. It's been done in other states and it works. I think it'd be good for our party to start doing it. I think we want to model this and see if it works, and if it does, it could be a model for the rest of the state. That's what we're hoping. Okay? Yes, sir.
I'd make a suggestion that you might attend some of the South Dayton Democratic Club meetings where they run a meeting where they don't ask anybody for their card. They don't tell them they're not a Democrat. They have a subject or a speaker at every meeting where you can learn things, where they plan projects to be active in the community, and they give back money to the community. I think the model is run by Allison and Tim Benford, and you just need to be made aware of it because you don't run things like they do.
Well, I thank you for that, sir. I just gave you the pleasure to speak even though you're not a member, so.
Oh!
Hope that works for you, all right?
105,000 people said I was a Democrat,
I didn't
and
say you're
that's,
not a Democrat, sir.
yeah, and you're the only one that doesn't think that I'm not, but
Please,
okay.
If you keep cutting me off, I will throw you out. Thank you. All right. So that's what we're working on.
Yeah, I'm not being hostile.
No. Look, I get it. Look, people are asking why are we doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Look,
because
reality
we already-
is.
I think we already know what people are concerned about, what people are wondering about. And to be honest, I
I
don't
mean,
think
look,
people-
I think a lot of us here live in a you know, hypothetical world, right? I don't know what it's like to be a black male or a black woman living in West Dayton. I don't. A lot of us in this room don't. I don't know what it's like to live poor anymore. I used to back in the day. I lived very poor, but that's not me anymore. I'm disconnected from that. And I think sometimes our messaging, because of how disconnected we are from the world that we say we want to serve, to reality, right? I mean, most of us are highly educated folks in this room. You know, most of us we have jobs and do okay. We're not struggling. We're not living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us are. Some of you are looking at me like, Mohamed, I am. But you know, you get what I'm saying, right? I mean, those folks, I want to hear what they have to say because those are the ones we need to hear. And look, this message came to me, not from me. I don't want to take credit for it. Reverend Harris, Paul, Sheriff Brown, and I met with pastors last year. And this was the message loud and clear to us. You only come here when you want us to vote for you. That was that's a very strong message that came to us. Please come and listen to what our community has to say and listen for a while, not just pretend to listen. So we're going to continue to do that. I mean, and those listening sessions become, you know, once you find out what folks are interested in, you can turn them into roundtables, into activism, right? So once you start figuring out what people are passionate about, then you can turn that passion into actually action. But we're not there. I mean, we're just not. We haven't been there for a while. Okay? Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, question. Anybody have a question?
I do. I just want to say something here. As I look around this room, and I'm being very polite about this, the average age is about 35. There's a demographic that we're missing, 18 to 35, and we're going to need them in August to help us take control.
Average age is 35 is good.
So those are the ones we need to be listening to, because as I talk to them, they're saying, we're not listening to us. You old people aren't listening to us. And those are the ones we need to be listening to, and that's why we do need to get out to the community and talk to them and listen to them and get them on board. Because if we're going to survive, we need their help. And that's what pushed Georgia, okay? The younger folks are what pushed Georgia where it got to be, not as old people. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of what's going on in the world today.
35.
Well, I was polite.
More than polite, buddy. Look, obviously, we are going to do a listening session for our college, but one of the harder things about some of the voter restriction laws that passed in Ohio is obvious. You know, we're trying to figure it out. Is the fact that Ohio students can no longer use student IDs. Right?
Yeah.
Which I think we're one of the few states in the country that does that. Right? So we're in conversation with ODP, we're trying to figure out, you know, people could still use their last 4 digits of their socials to request absentees, but getting young people to request an absentee ballot is a challenge. Yes, sir. Yes.
I like, as president of Northwest Dems, I like to offer our assistance in that endeavor.
Yes. Thank you.
So anytime you need us, I mean, it may be a rough start, just getting started, but the more frequent that we do that,
Yes.
you know, we just can't hit the home run and then walk away.
No, we can't. It's going to be a continuous listening session that will turn to
That
listening
includes
circles.
Northwest
and-
Dayton too.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. This is not, you know, one-time thing. It'll become a listening circles with leads, and leads can start leading those circles regularly and have regular meetings with them. That's the goal. That's the end goal. It's sort of like the old organizing model that was. It's not nothing new. All right. Anything from committees? Any communications updates for us?
We always got communications.
Yes.
Okay, I'm more or less in my own screen here. Hey everyone, Mike Burrell, head of the communications committee. I wanted to take this moment to highlight 2 things. The first thing is Natia and I and the rest of my committee are trying really hard to keep our calendar on our website up to date. There are a couple out-of-date things on the website right now. We're going to get those off. But still, if you go to the calendar page, we're updating things. So things like this meeting, if you need to check the location of a meeting at the last minute, since they've been changing, you can look that up. Things like the efforts that Jocelyn and Melissa are planning for the reproductive rights campaign, and fundraisers by the club meetings, fundraisers by candidates, those sorts of things. So if there's something you're not seeing on there that you want to be on the calendar, please email me. And if you're a club leader or a candidate or working on a campaign, I can also get you access to add things yourself if you'd like to as well. So I wanted to highlight that. And then secondly, I don't know if any of you all have heard, I think it was in the Dayton Daily News this morning, but one of our state senators, Mr. Rhynard has been going a little too fast on the roadways recently. If you didn't see, he's been cited for speeding 14 or more times. Most of those times were over 15 miles over the speed limit. So it's incredible. I don't even know how this man still has a license. Maybe he's getting special treatment because he's a state senator. So,
a good lawyer.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But he's racked up a lot of points. And we'd really love your help sharing that message with the world for those people that don't read the paper. So I know we have a post up on Twitter right now. We might have one on Facebook, and if not, we'll have one later. So please help us get that word out about our lovely state senator. So thank you.
All right, club announcements at this time. I'll take any northwest, south. Anybody want to? Is the Young Dems president here yet?
Craig is not here.
Craig, I was going to congratulate him. We have a new president for the Young Dems. Craig got elected, right?
Yes.
Meeting with him tomorrow, so congratulations, Craig, if you're not here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
For all those who don't know me, I'm Tony Carrington, president of the Northwest Dems, and there's a lot of important things that were said here. I'll jump into this in a moment, but there's a lot of important things that were said here about embracing the clubs that are in the area. I mean, we could do some very insightful and things that are important to bring in this community, and also getting votes shared by other people in different parts of the community. So we take advantage of those clubs that are out there on the periphery to at least encourage people to come and vote. Another thing that what the clubs have been doing too actively is bringing in the ideas of what you just said, sir, about young folks. Because, we can't keep seeing these same faces over and over again doing all the work. So it's important that we reach out to these young folks. So we've had several young people show up at our meetings, and man, we worship them like they're gods. You gotta make them feel good, make them feel that they're important. So
Brings that average age down.
yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. So it's important that we do those kind of things, actively do those kind of things to the young people, and plus we get out in the community and try to do the same thing as well. But just make a couple of announcements for our club. We've had several meetings. We've had some great speakers. We kind of modeled what Allison had started. Which I think it's important that we understand things other than politics. Understand the dynamics of the people in your own communities, things that are actively happening, and just kind of educate ourselves on things that we may know very little about. So one of the things that we've done is we've had the issues with Planned Parenthood. We've had Jocelyn Rhynard come and talk to us about that since she's a board member there. Had very good, long conversation about all the activities that Planned Parenthood does, other than abortions, because that's a very small percentage of what actions that are taken over there. And a lot of people just don't understand that. They think that Planned Parenthood is just abortions. The next month we had Carolyn Rice come, and she came and gave us a very good overview of how Montgomery County is actively involved in just about everything that goes on around here in the community. And she kind of listed off probably at least 30 or 40 different committees that she's involved with. So she gave us a very good broad view of what Montgomery County is involved with, and we was real grateful that she did that. And then our most recent guest speaker was the illustrious Mohamed Al-Hamdani. Came and gave us some information on immigration, and that was very, very enlightening. I mean, the things that we just think we know, we don't know. So he kind of gave us a very good and a lot of details involved what people go through just to become an American. And that's what their desire is to be. Is just there's so many impediments and roadblocks in the way that they just have to wait and wait and wait And as a black man in this community, that's the last word I ever want to hear is I gotta wait. So the thing I want to share with you guys and everybody in this community is that we're actually doing things other than just politics. But at the end of the day, it does involve politics. So we're educating ourselves. The last thing I want to mention is May the 11th, at our next club meeting, which is May the 11th at 7 p.m. at the Harrison Township Community Room. We're going to have a fun night. So one of the things we're going to do after our quick meeting, we're going to kind of break out and have a little fun there. Things that we intentionally try to do after each meeting, but we just get, pretty lengthy in word. So one of the things we want to do is enjoy each other's company a lot more. And so that hopefully will kind of entice people to come and be a part of a membership in the Northwest Dems. So that's all I have to say right now. Thank you very much.
You're all welcome anytime. We've had 3 great meetings as well, February, March and April. We welcomed Jeanette Horowitz from Welcome Dayton in February, and she's wonderful. And again, the immigration issues that we have in Dayton, she was able to outline those for us. Tom Roberts, the president of the Ohio Conference NAACP, was our guest in March, and he was wonderful. He was a great source of knowledge about the issue of redistricting, because he's really taken that on his shoulders as well. And he invited us to join him to be members of the NAACP. So I think a number of us are going to do that, and I think that would be a great combination of folks to get together. We also held our raffle that month for 2 tickets to Frolic. So Mike was one of the winners, and so we were able to, I think we had about 60 South Dayton folks at Frolic, so that was really good. We also initiated 4 work groups, and this actually, we were talking about young folks, this actually came from some younger members that we do have. And they said, we would really like to, split up and really work on some issues and become more active. So we will, anything you would like to do, we're going to try. So we've got one group who is interested in voting data analysis. And so they're looking, especially in House Districts 36 and 37, they are looking at those votes, especially in 36, where Addison was only 464 votes shy. Where can we pick up those 500 votes? We want to work smarter, not harder. And so we do have one group that's looking into that. We've got a strategy development group. They're focusing on voter outreach, registration and education, and we're partnering with VoteRider for this endeavor. And they have something really cool out right now, actually. If you go to VoteRider, they somehow know those folks who normally, wouldn't have an ID, an Ohio ID. And so you can send a letter to 20, they'll send you the addresses and so forth and the letter. And to make sure that those folks know that the voter ID laws have changed, and they will provide money. They will provide money for bus fare or an Uber to get you to go and get your ID. They will even provide money if you don't have sufficient money to get a new birth certificate. So VoteRiders is a very cool organization. So we're working with them for that. We do have a group tracking legislation and our legislators so that we know how they are voting. So that when it does come to election time, we've got that information at our fingertips that we can say, did you know Andrea White voted for? X, Y, and Z, or whomever it is we're talking to. And we've got an SDDC maintenance and growth group. And from work on in this group, we've actually initiated the building of a website. And my son, thank you, Noel, in New York is doing that for us. So we think that this is another way that we can get out there, get information out a little bit easier than just Facebook. So, so that's what we were up to with this group. Got a lot of enthusiasm with that as well. Last week we had our very own Desiree Timms come back to join us, and she's at the sharp end of the spear with all of the legislation and the despicable bills that are going through the Ohio legislature. So she was able to tell us a lot about each of those bills. And we did welcome Lynn Cooper. Lynn's over here. She's hopefully hoping to oust Mike Foley as the county clerk reports. And Stacey Benson-Taylor did come, and she spoke to us also about the work of the recorder's office and what her job has been working along with Brandon. Jocelyn and Mel were there. It was a very busy night. They updated us on all the issues that we were updated on this evening and did some training. In May, we've got Nicole Walcott and Nathan Alley, and they are from the Sierra Club. So again, just as Tony was saying, we like to have a variety of folks bringing us all of the issues that we care about. We are living our values, so we want to know about environmental issues, and I believe Nathan Alley is also concerned with the redistricting issue. And then in June, we'll be having our summer picnic at Delco Park, so all of that is to come. Thank you.
Clubs, lawyers, state lawyers, do you have anything you want to add? All right, other club announcements. Before I ask for adjournment, is there any new business before the body that I need to bring up?
I have some new business.
Yes, ma'am.
Just real quick, you may have seen Reporter McLean on the news the last couple days. There is a fraud issue that is pending, and we see those all the time at the recorder's office. And so what has happened is people will do a quitclaim deed and take property.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a young lady that came in, and she was subject to a tax lien that she wasn't aware of because her property had been quitclaimed to someone else. So she obviously wants to solve that problem, but the gentleman is deceased. But as a result of that, there's been a lot of media. And so we have what Brandon instituted, the fraud alert notification system, and I talked to both of the clubs about that. And it's important that you go onto the recorder's website, mcrecorder.org, and sign your property up. What that does is if you get a new mortgage, if you transfer your property, any type of transaction that occurs on your property, you receive notification. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that people are aware of that program, make sure that people are signing up, because it used to be if there was a vacant property, someone would see it vacant and transfer. Well, these are properties that we're now seeing where people are living. I had a gentleman today, he had a quitclaim deed for an apartment building that he's still collecting rent on. He had no idea that it had been transferred. So see me after the meeting for more information, but I want to make sure that we are helping people protect their property. Thank you.
Just as an update, a lot of that there's a lot more foreclosures happening with our current treasurer. He's foreclosing on a lot more properties than in the past, and tax liens are being sold for pennies on the dollar again. So that's adding to more confusion as well. So, all right. Any other new business?
Chair,
Yes.
we neglected to mention Mel.
Oh, yeah. So anybody who's interested in going to a polling location on election for the May primary, specifically Dayton area, with a petition, please let us know after if you're interested in doing that, or if you have a petition, or we talk to you about it afterwards. And then also, what was the?
If you haven't yet signed, we have a
Yes.
petition for you to sign.
Yes, and also if you haven't signed, that was the last thing.
Are you guys doing training
Yes,
after this?
right now, yep.
All right. No new business. I do want to recognize a few people in the audience. Obviously, Karen McGonier from the school board is here. Jocelyn from the school board. Here from the school board. Former Dayton clerk of courts and former chairman Mark Owens is here. Karen is here. Former president of the school board is here. Mr. Harris. Matt Heck is on our Zoom. So thank you guys to our elected school board in attendance. Did I say Will Smith? I thought I said Will Smith.
I did want to, with the conversation about outreach, I would encourage folk, if they can, to look at a website. It's MC Westside DC, the Montgomery County Westside Democratic Club.
Which we're working on recognizing as an official club.
We got work to do. But I think one of the reasons, there's a lot of traffic that comes through the page, and a lot of it is just, it's less political, but more education. So on there you can find what every office in the county is, what they do, what their roles are, who's in those seats when they're up for election, all of those things. And then it also talks about just community pieces. So that's one of the things that we've been able to do to connect with younger folk that don't really get into who the reporter is.
Your meetings are younger than this meeting.
So I think just, if you get a chance, check out the site. And I think it would be helpful in this party and how we try to attract more folk and getting those kind of things out there. So I did want to share that out. MC Westside DC.
Westside.
Montgomery County Westside Democratic.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
At this point, with no other new business, I will take a motion to adjourn. Do you have new business, sir? Yes. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, President. I was just pointing at someone else. Just to add on to what Mr. Smith just mentioned, one of the things that we really need to think about, particularly when we got people out canvassing, knocking on doors, asking people to vote, get involved. If you've ever experienced doing a lot of voting and trying to get signatures, is we ask too many closed-in questions.
Yeah, yes, no question.
And we got to get really good. We got to get really creative, open-ended questions, which starts the conversation. Because otherwise, if we continue what we've been doing, we've got a lot of people just keep walking past us. So you've got to get creative. We got to do the right thing as far as get more engagement with potential voters or people who need to be voting or people who need to register to vote.
Engagement has changed too now.
Yeah, so we really need to.
Digital engagement.
That may be a committee thought.
Yeah.
You know, a challenge for us to come up with those kind of things to do when we encounter people who need to vote. So we need to really take a look at that. So I know the Democratic Party's been struggling with that and being consistent, but you know we need to take the lead on it. I think we do.
Thank you, sir. All right, close. 2.
Sure. Can I just ask real quick? I thought Tony was going to do it for some reason. Can we talk a little bit about the pace of appointments?
The pace?
Yeah. It's a topic that was real contentious earlier, but at this point, like there's not a lot of people in the room right now.
So, I'm sorry, say that again.
Sure. Well, like we haven't made any appointments this year, right? Of any of the empty seats, any of the empty precincts.
Not yet, no.
Right, and I mean, just we have a big campaign to work on, and a lot of other business is going to take a lot of hands. I know there's a couple people here right now that are on the list.
If I'm being very clear with you about this, you know, our body is overwhelmingly white.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm trying to balance that, and that's why I want to start with the listening sessions to identify folks, especially in precincts. I mean, a lot of the precincts that are filled are West Dayton.
Exactly.
Right, and so we haven't done enough outreach to know who's there, right? And so really that's why I wanted to start in West Dayton, to identify some of those folks, and hopefully we get leaders out of that. You know, but we're just going to appoint people just for appointing people, just kind of repeats the same cycle. And if they're not going to be engaged, then they're not, you know what I mean? I got to identify new leaders. We got to bring in new blood.
Sure.
That's what I'm working on. That's sort of why I want to start with the listening session.
That makes sense. I just didn't know if it's a capacity issue or what.
It's not a capacity issue. It's really an identity issue. We're trying to identify those younger folks that we want to bring in, right? I mean, he you know, did much better politically than, you know, we're old and we're white. Okay? If I'm being honest. You know, and nothing wrong with that, but 90% of our vote still comes from minority areas, you know, and we're not representing them very well as a body right now.
Sure.
Yes,
Just going off of that, that was a really contentious issue.
Oh, yeah, and I don't need
Constitution.
Yeah.
So.
I'm trying to play
want to
fair.
forewarn
I know people
you.
thought I was gonna be appointing hundreds of people. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but oddly, I got kind of excited for it right away. Like, you convinced me that it was actually a good idea.
It is a
That
good
makes
idea,
sense.
but let's, look, we gotta get the right people in.
I
get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good question. Any- Yes, they can't hear you.
So this is Bethany Ramsey.
So they need to reach out to, see her question, if somebody's interested, please reach out to me and Reverend Harris, and then we'll have to meet with you. Recognize, we're gonna have a small questionnaire. We're just gonna make sure your, values align with the values of the Democratic Party. That's really it. It's very easy. Yes, sure. Yes. It's not a big questionnaire. It's just, making sure that you're gonna do the work, that you're actually gonna be participating, things like that. We'll get you that. No problem. If they reach out to me, meet with me, we can appoint them at the next meeting. Oh, okay. Yeah. Not that part. Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Oh, you're tired. I have a move to adjourn. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Oh, these folks are ready to go.
Nobody gets to talk.
All right. You got a baby. I get it. All right. Hey. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you guys. Go to that baby, man. You look pale.